Welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast.
Come with me.
And welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I'm your host, John. This is my co-host, Matt. Matt, say hi.
What is cracking?
We got a doozy for you, folks.
Always a doozy.
Always a doozy.
Always a fucking doozy.
It's good to be back.
It's been a minute.
It has.
It's been a
Glad
fucking
to have all of you back with us.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 24. We are reviewing our very own short film Worm, which
I fucking hated it.
which we released July 24th of this year. About 17 minutes long, budget about $100.
About $100 minus
Minus
alcohol
the
expenses.
alcohol. Very true. You add that, it's about $600, $700.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we don't count that towards the movie budget. We just count that because we would do that anyway, right?
Even though no fake alcohol was drank
At all.
at all.
At all in the movie. It's very true.
Shout out to J-Man for making sure that happened when you wanted to drink some water.
A little water. Not much water, but some water drank when it got hot in that hallway scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our main man, Henry Guild, right here. The main antagonist of the film. Kind of your character as well.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Worm, go watch it on our YouTube channel right now. If you're listening to this on any other podcast platform, you can find it on our YouTube channel, which you can search New England Home of Horror or Worm short film.
Or the Home of Horror podcast.
Or the Home of Horror podcast. You'll find it on there. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Feels good.
Feels really good.
Feels like home again.
Took a couple month hiatus just to get the movie done. Took a lot of work, a lot of effort.
Definitely a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot more work than you would expect.
It's true.
You know.
And the movie's only, 17 and a half minutes probably, including credits. So, I wrote the script in February. We've been filming since March. So it's been a long time coming just to make a pretty short film.
Yeah, and when we started doing it, it was like do the podcast, do some filming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Fuck around a little bit. And it just got to be so fucking much. Honestly, we'd come in here for an hour or two and do the podcast, get everything set up, get everything right. And then it was like, okay, we've drank a half bottle of tequila and 6 beers, and now let's drink the other half a bottle of tequila and drink 12 beers. And we just weren't getting as much done as we needed to get done.
Yeah.
Reason for the hiatus, really.
Yeah. And then we did the release party, obviously, and then we've been trying to come back actually for like a week or so now, but we've had some technical difficulties. Finally got some of our equipment going today. We got some newer equipment coming next week, so hopefully that'll make the podcast even better as far as video goes. Yeah. We're pretty much all set with audio right now. So thank you for joining us. Any returning people, thank you for sticking with us. Any new fans, new listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it's going to be great. So yeah, like we said, about $100 budget. We didn't spend a lot on this movie. It actually stems from, much like our Tusk episode that we did for episode 23, where Kevin Smith kind of talks about how he was doing his podcast and him and his co-host kind of came up with this idea for this weird walrus horror movie. Mm-hmm. And then it turned into a movie. Same thing with us. We did an episode with New England filmmaker
John
Campopiano. And we kind of got to talking about how, we talked about his film Snapper, his documentary about these guys from Massachusetts that worked on this man-eating turtle movie, and they never finished it because pretty much they took $8,000
$8,000 that they put all on credit cards,
right? Just to make pretty much a trailer. They just shot some scenes of what they could and made some props with what they could. And got some people to work on it with them, and just to pretty much make a trailer to send out to other production companies and try to get this movie made. pretty much get another budget, get some money to make
and
this
they
movie.
sent it out to everybody. They had these little turtles made up that they sent out. I mean, we don't want to get too much into that, but long story short, they never heard back from anybody, never got a response, and they're still writing to this day.
Right.
I mean, they've written a bunch of stuff.
And that was in the late 80s, early 90s.
I think it was early 90s. Yeah, 91, I believe.
And, you know, we just kind of thought about it and we said, you know, it'd be kind of cool to see what we could make on a really, really low budget, but with kind of today's technology which would still be considered like low budget technology compared to what's out there.
Absolutely.
But could we make something similar with better quality for even lower of a budget? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if we would have had $8,000 for this movie, I mean,
for today's standards, I mean, we could have, you know, had amazing equipment.
Right.
We could have paid some actors instead of acting in it ourselves.
Right.
I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We could have some professional editors and stuff like that. You know, I wrote the script. We both produced it. We both directed it. I did the score myself, all original music.
Yeah, and you've been doing music for years and years now. So.
Yeah, I've been doing music for over 10 years now, but never put it into film form, right? And score form, anything like that. So it was a cool challenge to try to do that. So I have some experience there, and editing, obviously, just with the podcast and doing some music video stuff, but not really much in the cinematic film world.
Right.
So we pretty much did the whole thing as far as, you know, if you look at the credits, it's me and you. Most of
90% of the time, right?
Yeah, and we had some good help with, you know, our director of video and audio, Jeremy Campbell, our friend J-Man, who helped with holding boom mics and kind of did some of the dirty work, you know.
God bless his arms.
Yeah, God bless his arms.
He broke both of them. He broke both of them in the process of making this movie.
But yeah, it was a lot of help because it's really difficult to kind of, you know, set up we filmed it all on a cell phone. Like we said, $100 budget. So all of that pretty much went into like blood, a little bit of the mask. The mask was like $12 that we turned into
our own thing, right?
Who Henry Guild is now. Put a wig on it, burnt the face up, put ropes through it, kind of went with the whole storyline of the thing as well.
And we were a little afraid it looked like another character for a while.
Yeah, it does. You know,
there is that.
There's similarities with Sinister,
right?
But it is completely different if you go into detail. Really, it's just a $12, you know, simple like Kmart style, Halloween mask. It doesn't have any significance with any other movie or anything like that. It's just
and we burned the shit out of it, which was looking back.
Probably not a great idea.
Terrible idea. It was a terrible idea. It made everything sticky. Everything was just slimy.
Yeah, the silicone
it's still slimy
and the latex. Day. You know, it doesn't like dry. You know what I mean? It like stays wet and gooey, and which kind of added a little bit, but it also broke the mask up a little bit. We had to cut the entire back and Velcro it to make it fit my face and your face. We both played Henry Guild in this movie,
right?
You're kind of like the unmasked, you know. It's like
unmasked Henry Guild.
It's pretty cool, kind of
the
like
sexy
Halloween Michael Myers style. You know?
I like to think of him as the sexy Henry.
So we kind of made it our own. The whole suit itself, the wardrobe we came up with, very Maine New England style with the flannel, you know, and the Carhartt
and the
pants and the boots, the shit kickers as we
shit
like to call
kickers,
it.
Dude.
But yeah, you know, we wanted to see what we could do with a very low budget and just a cell phone and you know, a couple stage lights here and there. But it was very difficult to you know, set up the tripod, set up a scene, and then have to, you know, look at the scene and then go and act.
Absolutely.
You know, it was very much like film 30 seconds here, film 30 seconds there, check out the video.
And we'd be sitting there and we're like, okay, now sit where I'm going to be sitting. I want to take a look. Let's, you know, we keep switching back and forth. It's with not a lot of help. I mean, we did have a lot of help, you know, and thanks to everybody who helped us. But
absolutely,
there was a lot of times where me and you were alone. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like sitting here, like, how are we going to get this shot?
I mean, the whole last
the whole
6 minutes of the movie was shot with just me and you, pretty much.
And we were like, the whole time we're like, we're gonna get people here. We're gonna have a
right.
You know, we're
so
gonna be,
hard to do. I mean,
and just life gets in the way. You
absolutely.
know? And you know, we would have had this movie done a lot sooner if life wouldn't have gotten in the way for me and you. You know what I mean? It was like every other weekend we had something going on.
Yeah, and like you said before, we were filming at first just like an hour or two. That's why the first couple months went by so slow, and then it was like, all right, let's pick it up this last month and film. You know, then we were filming 5-6 hours a night, getting you know 50 to 60 pieces of footage. You know, that just to edit all of
that added up to like 45 seconds. Or, you know, a minute.
It wouldn't be a lot, you know, and it was tough. What do you think, in your opinion? What do you think the toughest part was?
Trying to bring the other actors up in the movie, because I had to really carry.
You deserve an Oscar.
Well, thank you. No, you know, I never did drama or anything like that. I mean, I'm a big bullshitter. I love to fuck with people. Yeah. I do it all the time. So it's kind of second nature for me. I like to tell stories and just fuck with people, but it's coming out of my head. It's not something that I have to go off a base of something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in the beginning of the movie, I think the dialogue, it was a little stale for both of us. And then as we got going, we just made it our own. Yeah. You know, we had a base of what...
dove into the characters
exactly. We had a base of what we wanted to get out there. And then it was like, just say it the way you'd say it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. And,
so I think getting going on dialogue and how you want to act and...
For sure, because a lot of like what I wrote in the script, we had to change a lot of the dialogue on the fly because we didn't have enough time to really memorize lines, or we would look at, you know, some dialogue and say, hey, this isn't exactly how we would say it, and we were kind of playing ourselves, a version of ourselves in this movie, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't really have time to do that, so a lot of the dialogue we kind of just shot the shit back and forth and made it work. We understood where we were going, you know, where we needed to get.
Right.
So let's just make the dialogue work that way. The script itself was really more of an outline, in professional format of like where we wanted to go.
Yeah, things that needed to be said, things that
and a lot of things were added. You know, like the if you don't know out there is a mid-credit scene, that, you know, kind of pushes the story. It possibly could leave doors open for new things, new
ventures.
Yeah, new projects we could do. We wanted to make sure we did that because Henry Guild is kind of close to our hearts now.
Absolutely, man.
It's someone who we've created out of thin air. You know, he's obviously has a lot of qualities that a lot of the slasher genre has.
And honestly, he changed from the beginning
absolutely.
to the end. I mean, it was a lot changed. There were a lot of scenes where we'd sit here and we'd read... And, well, this is the way it was drawn up. Well, let's do this. No, let's do you know what I mean? Let's do it this way. Let's tweak this.
Well, especially the way it was shot, too. You know, we had never really filmed like that before. So the way it was shot from the beginning to end got better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, really, what we just had in the script was the underlying theme. We understood that we wanted Henry to you know, represent your guilt, your character's guilt as a person. Right. You know, that's the whole tagline. Nothing kills like a guilty conscience. We want people to understand that Guild is the symbol of guilt. That's why his last name is Guild, right?
Right.
The whole point we knew that we wanted you to really be the antagonist at the end there.
Absolutely.
But also, like we talked about, you know, the mid-credit scene kind of opens that door to some other possibilities that, you know, some psychological possibilities.
You know, and there's a lot of things we could do that we've talked about.
Absolutely.
A lot of, you know, we used a lot of symbolism in this movie.
Right.
There was a lot of things that, Easter eggs that we tried to put throughout the movie. You know, we tried to shout out to Shelley Duvall.
Yes.
The cross behind me through the first few minutes of the movie. Jesus Christ picture behind you.
Mm-hmm.
There's 666 on the table, in the dice in the open. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
The Pennywise
shot glass. That's
the red balloon tied to the closet in that end scene where you find Katie.
You know, the red lighting, the red hammer handle.
Right.
there was just a lot of little things.
The red lighting was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys notice throughout the entire film, anytime there's like a really intense scene, the lights are super red. That was done on purpose.
Absolutely,
obviously.
yeah.
Kind of took that out of the book of like
even the red pillow in the living room. You know what I mean? It was like that. We just wanted to place something there,
and that was where a lot of the imagery came from. The cinematography. That's really all we really had. But it's kind of taken a page out of M. Night Shyamalan's book from like The Sixth Sense of, every time there's a death or every time, there's something red,
right?
Red doorknob here, whatever.
Right. And you've seen and Stephen King does the same thing.
He does the same exact thing.
The red truck in Pet Cemetery.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Red
balloons.
All of it,
right. I mean, yeah. And I think that people don't necessarily, when Henry Guild kills you, and he rips out your tongue, you're like, oh, it's kind of gross scene.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, it was, when you look back on the whole story and the whole story.
Yes.
Trying to keep you quiet. I mean,
exactly.
There's a lot of things that we thought about the tongue coming out was a direct symbol of JT needs to be kept quiet. If he finds out, you know what I mean? If
exactly.
he finds out something,
that was the thing that, I interpreted as is you don't want me to find out. It's
exactly.
like that feeling of like, I really hope that, this friend's coming over to, be with me and help me, but I also don't want him to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes here,
Right.
And that scene was really hard to film. I mean, that was a hard hallway. That hallway was like, when we started filming the film, a lot of our set scene, like the scenery scenes, are cut out.
My brother helped filmed a lot of those, and a lot of them were cut.
Yeah, and he's in the credits because he deserves he deserves to be recognized for that, even though a lot of his scenes didn't make it in. But when we first started, it was March.
Right.
There was snow on the ground.
There was ice on the river.
Ice on the rivers. And then halfway through the movie, you have an air conditioner in. And then we're filming that tongue scene. And I mean, it's 95 degrees in the hallway.
Wearing flannels.
No fans, no nothing. Right. We have these stage lights beaming on us. We probably spent 3.5 hours, me drenched in blood, putting a fucking fake tongue down my throat, where you can see in the behind the scenes, which is also on our YouTube as well. The behind the scenes footage. I mean, putting that thing in my mouth was disgusting, dude. Mm-hmm. Like the feeling, it feels like a real tongue, and it's like pretty much as big as a real tongue as far as what you see in your mouth.
Right.
Not like the glands and everything.
Strangely erotic.
It was like I'd put it in and feel like it was halfway down my throat, and I'd have to pull it out. Not to mention you add dumping buckets of blood on my face, and then not plugging my nose,
right,
and just having that just go up my nose. That was a mistake, and just sitting on the floor. I mean, we probably spent an hour of me on my back on the floor with you standing over me in the mask, you know.
Yeah, I'm like drenched inside
Yeah, not to
mask.
mention me and you are switching these clothes back and forth, and the mask back and forth, and it's getting hot, and that mask took a beating. I mean, right now it's hard. We have it on like a mannequin styrofoam head, but you can't pull. You have to be really careful with that mask because it's literally
falling apart.
It's falling apart because of all the sweat and that material is deteriorating really, really quickly because of how much sweat and how much use it got.
Right. I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Let's take a fucking shot, huh?
Yeah, we haven't even taken a shot.
I mean, what the fuck? Let's do another one after this because you fucked up. We've been, 10 minutes?
Yeah, probably. I don't even know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So good.
Actually, move the mouse on that. See how long we've gone here.
We are 18 minutes in. 19
Love
minutes.
It. As you guys can see, we have a new setup here. We're actually facing the camera now instead of facing each other.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
We just knew we were so handsome that everybody wanted to see us on camera here. We also have 2 computers going, one filming audio, one doing video, which will change shortly once we get our new equipment. But
yeah. Jeez.
So yeah, what were we talking about there? That hallway scene.
So
yeah,
That was tough. That was one of the toughest scenes we shot through the entire. And we had help. J-Man was laying on the floor. I mean, it's
back couldn't have felt good. We had plastic all over the walls, which we didn't even really use.
We eventually took it all down. We took time,
said,
plastic, and everything because we couldn't get the shot we wanted.
Right.
You'd see the glimmer of the plastic. And I'm actually looking for a new place to live because my landlord is pissed. I mean, there's blood all over this place. There's literal blood all over this place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I still find
little spots of blood, yeah. And it wasn't like a real movie where we got to order like fake blood, so it was the same consistency every time. We actually had to, like we said, most of the budget went to making blood. We made bowls and buckets of blood where we would take red food dye, cocoa powder, corn syrup, baking powder with water, and we just mix all this all day. And I mean, especially that hallway scene, Matt, the stench of that stuff eventually, because at first you're like, oh, it smells like fucking hot cocoa. You know,
it did smell like hot cocoa.
It's like Hershey's cocoa powder.
I liked the taste of it.
Yeah. But after a while, the smell.
It would make you feel nauseous.
Yeah, it was bad. Especially how hot it was. And you just like, I remember that when we filmed that scene, it was just, we would go in and drink water for like 2 hours. Like, usually we're drinking beers, we're having tequila, we're having fun. But for that specific scene, we had to start towards, because we filmed till 2 or 3 in the morning that night.
Yeah, And, that was one of the later ones.
Yeah, at that point, we were like running in, pounding water, then go back out and film more and stuff like that. So that was I think that was probably the most difficult day in my opinion. I do agree with you. The dialogue was really hard because we're not exactly actors,
and it was how we started out. It was literally the first thing we did. So it was like, okay, let's break into this. Let's figure out how we want to do it.
Yeah,
switching cameras back and forth and how the dialogue was going to work.
And you can see why a lot of filmmakers and directors have like started off their movies. Like you always hear about, like, you know, if you've ever watched behind the scenes or documentaries on movies, it's always like the first scene they film is like a weird running chase scene or like even a kill scene or something like that.
Something first to break the tension. And James Bond movie is a classic for it. You always get that big chase or you always get that villain who's, you know.
But it's like filming that first and you're always like, you're kind of like, if you don't understand, you know, you're like, what? I don't understand why they would film that first. Why wouldn't they start at the beginning? And now I can kind of see a lot of it probably is because you don't realize how much you have to be in character for those beginning scenes.
Loosen everybody up.
Well, because they're really important. I know, like, a lot of people who aren't huge film buffs, you know, they like the action movies and stuff, and that's what they're waiting for. But none of that matters until all of the important stuff, the quote-unquote boring stuff to a lot of people, is said and done. You don't care about the characters at all if you were to just jump into those scenes. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, the dialogue and making you care about the people that are in the movie is what matters. Now, it's hard to do that with a 17-minute movie that we did here, but I think we did a pretty good job with setting up the story. You know, we were talking earlier off camera about how this movie is really, I guess our style is kind of, the beginning of this movie is not a horror film. No. And then it's like, boom, after the party montage scene,
which was my favorite
horror scene,
which was my favorite fucking scene to film in this movie.
So
because we literally had a party.
Yeah, we had a party.
I mean, there were literally people. We had to keep moving them from place to place.
Yeah,
so we could get the shots.
We had mudslides going.
I mean, people were bringing blenders over. Fucking,
yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, we had a real good time that night.
Yeah, that was a real party.
But in the movie, it's just me and you. You know what I mean?
Yes. You can't tell where, you know, and that's where our budget showed a little bit, and how, you know, with that slow motion filmed on a cell phone, it's a little grainy.
Right.
We made it work. Obviously, there's some things you have to sacrifice when you're doing a movie like this. Hopefully for our next project that we're planning, we don't have to sacrifice things like that. We can
absolutely not.
We can, you know, make it really good.
Hey, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Woo!
I love tequila.
It's our go-to.
It's been a while, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, we haven't filmed, we've been off the movie for a couple weeks.
We drank plenty of tequila this weekend. We seen each other
Gold tequila, though. Ugh, nasty. Jose Cuervo, gross.
No, wasn't my tequila.
I gotta get back in the swing of things. But, yeah, I mean, I think my favorite part of the movie was I really enjoyed the editing.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that because I was kind of learning as I went, you know, but I got to really experience what it was like to like, you know, spend 2 hours on like 10 seconds of film, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and how long it takes for those cut scenes and how to, it's a lot of work to try to fit the whole, you know, if you have all these clips and all this footage, you kind of sit there and go, how do I want this
Right.
to play out?
Right.
What do I put? It's like a puzzle. Where do I put? It's like Tetris. You know what I mean? I got to fit the right piece in.
Right.
So the story works. Because we had filmed, you know, one of the first action scenes, and it's not really action, but the one of the first scenes we filmed with blood was the bathroom scene with you.
Yeah.
But it was like, how do we?
Which is weirdly one of the scenes people think is the grossest.
Oh yeah, with the worms.
And it was the cheapest and like quickest scenes we filmed.
And
through the entire
let
thing.
you in on that. The worms were actually mealworms that you would feed to like a lizard.
And they tasted disgusting.
We didn't actually eat them. You shouldn't eat them. Don't eat them.
PETA.
We were actually going to eat them, but it says on the...
Not for human consumption,
exactly.
right?
I think we drank a lot of tequila that night.
We did.
Yeah, just fitting the scenes together is really hard, you know, because we filmed that bathroom scene, and then we had the scene where I walk into the hallway to go get more cigarettes out of the car, and that's the death scene for me. And then trying to fit it where I go out, then you go to, you know, because at first you go to the bathroom, and then I leave.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't want to film it where, or we could have filmed it where we see you go into the bathroom, that whole thing happens to you,
and then
then I walk out. But we wanted to break that up, where I walk out, then we see you in the bathroom, then I come back up the stairs, and it kind of, you know, just little things like that.
Absolutely.
Editing, it's really fun to do.
And we've seen enough movies where we know you don't want to spend 5 minutes on you, 5 minutes on me. But
No.
you know, especially with something short like this, you want to keep breaking it up.
Well, especially with just two characters, where you want to make sure you spend enough time with both.
And in such a small space that we're filming in. I mean, we literally filmed in 2 rooms and a hallway.
Exactly.
And that was the movie.
And just the timing. Realistically, you don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to spend, you know, a minute and a half of you in the bathroom, where I would probably be already coming back up the stairs, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where I go down the stairs and come back up, and you'd be sitting on the couch again or whatever. We wanted to break it up where it seemed like it was all in real time and that it was happening simultaneously, you know?
Right.
So it was kind of hard to do that, but I got a lot of compliments from people on the internet, family members, friends. You know, that was a big thing. People were like, the editing is like, I didn't get, you know, I really thought that I was going to get, and this is going to sound fucking pretentious, but like, I thought I was going to get more compliments on the score, because I really thought that I did a good job with the score and how it kind of plays out like a music video, because that's all I've done, and I've only made music for a decade.
Right.
I really thought that it was gonna, you know, I had the idea going in being like, I'm gonna make this like a music video where there's always sound. There's always sound. There's never, even the dialogue scenes. There's very few times. I mean, literally seconds that there's no sound.
Yeah.
No score. And I liked that, and it's always changing, and then it comes back, you know, the bracelet song, I call it, the piano ballad, is always going on during the dialogue, you know. But the most compliments I got on was the editing, being like, this was put together so well, where like, you know, a lot of people nowadays have a hard time sitting through a movie that's 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Absolutely.
Which me and you love.
Yeah.
I mean, The Exorcist.
We truly do love long movies.
I love sitting through a long movie where half of it's dialogue.
As long as it's
it.
good, though. It has to be great.
Absolutely.
You know, if you put me through a 2.5 hour movie and I come out of it going, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, then it sucks.
Or if I go, what did the ending of that movie... Dude.
You type it into the search engine. Yeah.
It's dead for me. It is dead for me. I thought it was very clear. You know, and another thing I wanted to get to is the bracelet. You see the bracelet throughout the entire movie. Henry Guild is wearing the bracelet.
And go back and watch it because it's
in
even
several
in
scenes.
It's
He
even
is
in
wearing
scenes
the bracelet.
You don't understand that it's supposed to be there.
Right.
Like it's not a mistake. It's always supposed to be there. I mean, and that was difficult for me and you leading up. I mean, we were editing this thing to the very last minute.
Until we
literally
uploaded
we were,
it, right?
Yeah. And it was hard for us. What at the beginning it was like, oh, when we were a month away, it's like, oh, this is gonna be sick. People are gonna love this. And then it was a half a month away. Oh yeah. I hope this is good. And then it was like days away, and we were like, oh shit.
And
like, I hope it makes
every
sense.
Day we were meeting. Every day we were meeting.
And it was like, I hope this makes sense. I hope this looks good. Because it's hard. The one thing you don't want is for the point of the story to get lost.
Absolutely. Especially with a short film, and it's way harder to get your point across. Especially when you're trying to be as deep as we were with certain things, with symbolism. And there was a lot of things, and I think that what gets lost in this movie is there were so many things that also changed throughout the whole thing.
For sure.
And one of my favorite scenes, we've talked about it, is the knock.
Oh, so
you know what I mean? It was in the script that I was supposed to go out and look in the hallway, but there was no real reason for us to go out. So we really sat and talked about
what do we come up with too? And you came up with the idea.
The knock. And then JT's voice, after he's already been marked, after he's already dead. Hey, Matt, it's me. Let me in.
And it brings that psychological aspect.
And literally, I showed it to my buddy. I was telling you. And he said, oh, is this all a trip?
Oh.
Because you know what I mean?
Well, that's the whole point.
Well, that's the point. So it gets you thinking, okay, this is all a trip. Ends up, bad trip, man. Mm-hmm. Bad trip. We go through that whole scene.
Right, but then you get hit with I want to say shock factor, but
it's
not really a shock factor, but there is a little twist.
There's a little twist.
At the end where you have killed your girlfriend. That's the whole point. So the whole point of Henry is kind of leading you off guard a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a trip, but it's bringing you back to the overall point of the movie.
And a lot of people didn't know that, like, there was a myth. There was a whole folklore that the worms,
the Mazco
maggot, really, was supposed to make you trip. And that was the big selling point.
If you're a horror movie buff, you understand. I mean, Poltergeist 2, where he eats the tequila and he ends up turning into this fucking crate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So hopefully, we kind of went off the basis of that, but
and we understand it doesn't really make you trip. We're gonna trip our butts up. Oh, that's right. You cut that.
I did cut that.
You son of a bitch.
Well, it was funny, but it's like with something like this with low budget, there's already going to be laughs.
Right. And
you want to keep the laughs to a minimum. You already know there's going to be laughs.
Right. And at the premiere, I thought it went great. It was way bigger than we expected.
Oh, definitely. We were so nervous. We didn't even sit in. We were off to the side, like watching people's faces because we wanted to see if first of all, it jumped a few people, which was nice. We didn't really expect it because we didn't have this huge budget where we could create these dark scenarios and stuff like that. But we got a few people on some things. But what blew my mind about when we premiered it was, the ending. The ending really because back to what I was saying, that really resonated with people where we were scared that it wasn't going to. People weren't going to get it.
Yeah.
That there's certain parts when you're making a film that you say, geez, I hope that do I have to you almost you don't want to, but you have to
put it in crayon for
do
somebody.
I have to fucking write this out for people? Or are they going to get it?
We had talked about it. Do we want to add little things? No, you don't. You want to have that little bit of lore that you have to think a little bit.
Just for the small chance that it works, it's so worth that. And it was worth that reaction of people to say, the second, the biggest thing, I want to talk about this because this was huge. This was a big part, and this was something you came up with that we didn't have in the script that was big.
I'm excited.
The realization of you pulling off the mask.
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge. People, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
There was nothing we had to switch around.
No, we were shooting. We were shooting it, and that's the way a lot of the changes came.
Yeah.
We were shooting it. We were talking about where the movie was going, and that was when me and you were alone. Yeah. Again, you know what I mean? Me and him, we're on the floor holding tripods and stuff, trying to get these shots, and we come up with that scene.
Oh, we got real close for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
closer than we wanted to get.
By the way, this is our last podcast.
Yeah, this is
We
it.
hate each other.
We hate each other now. We did argue quite a bit,
We really did argue,
but
it did bring out the best in us.
Right.
Because we're already talking about our next project.
Oh,
we're
it's going to be way bigger, way darker.
Way darker.
We won't get into it, but
way better filmed.
Yeah.
We're not filming this with a cell phone.
No, this is going to be way better. But that scene, I remember at the premiere.
Oh yeah.
When we say premiere, people, we didn't
we have like 25, 30 people here,
which is awesome.
Right. And we expected
but we didn't have it at there wasn't like a facility that we went to watch this film. We had it here
there where
we
people
filmed
laying
the movie.
On floors, sitting,
right. But it was just like it reminded me of like when you go to your friend's house when you're younger to like sleep over. You have a big sleepover, you all watch scary movies.
Right.
And you fucking drink beer and
we had popcorn.
Shit.
There was popcorn being passed around.
There was gummy worms.
Gummy worms.
I mean,
my sister fucking brought a shit ton of goodies.
And I mean, we only invited like not the best. I shouldn't say the best of friends, just people that we knew would really love the movie,
right,
and be there for the movie,
right.
But when I remember looking into the crowd when that scene pops up when you pull the mask off and you realize it's you versus you.
Oh,
and I mean, people were like, "Whoa!" And it was like I got so many compliments on that editing of like you would never expect it,
right?
And then it's you on the ground fucking gargling on your own fucking blood, right?
Right.
And then it cuts. Then it's like, is the movie over?
Right.
It has that long pause, and then boom.
Right.
We get the crow scene, which is dope. But then obviously you wake up, and then the audience realizes.
And I have the red sweatshirt wrapped around my neck.
Just like the intestines.
Were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there were a lot of things we thought about. I mean,
it took a long time.
And a lot of people it will go right over most people's heads.
Yeah.
It really will. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But for the real movie fan, we are real movie fans.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And
it's just enough but it's just enough. Even the people that it goes over their head, I think subconsciously it's keeping them in the moment.
Yeah.
Realizing like when you wake up from that scene with your sweatshirt around your neck, it's like, oh, you think the fucking intestines are still around your neck, you know? And then obviously it moves to the realization that you had killed your girlfriend. And then people love that too.
Your wife,
which was played by my wife Jess. Yes, she played Katie. She did a great job. And we're gonna utilize and
she
use
did a great job with makeup.
Yeah, we're gonna use her a lot more she's gonna be a lot more involved in the next film because she's great with makeup and special effects and stuff like that. But then the end credit scene. I mean, I think the best part of the, besides the mask reveal, like, I think the best part of the premiere, or even just the movie, really, is that.
Well, everybody was kind of clamoring, chatting. The credits come up.
Credits rolling. Everybody's like, that was pretty good.
Me and John look at each other and we're like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
We got another shot coming up.
Exactly.
Nobody knew it. Even the people close to the film, a lot of them didn't know it. You know what I mean?
We were going to put that in. We filmed it with different people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that, the credits start rolling and then boom, you hear doom.
And everybody.
That bass drop and everybody's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You see people start to sit back down. It was so cool, man. It was cool just as a filmmaker and, people who are just starting out as
and
filmmakers.
We actually liked that better than anything that we did because me and you were both behind the camera. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? We
didn't have to act in it.
We were literally...
Well, besides, obviously, a little bit of me.
A little bit, right. And we're looking at the scenes. We're looking at how we want to do it. The symbolism, the stairs again.
And that was probably the most blood we used as well.
Absolutely.
Which is hard to believe because we had the intestine scene, which was a lot of blood, but a lot of it soaked up in that.
Right.
I mean, just so everybody knows, a little behind the scenes look here. The intestines that we use for Matt's death scene is actually, it's pantyhose, brown pantyhose cut up and then stuffed with tissue paper and tied off. And then we soaked it in the homemade blood that we made. And that was the best we could do for intestines.
Absolutely.
I mean, and realistically, we would want to do like real pig intestines or something that a big budget movie would have.
Absolutely.
We didn't have that.
Right.
So we did the best we could. Well,
we really tried to keep it under the $100.
Oh, for sure. That's what we wanted.
That was our goal.
This whole movie was an experiment to see
what we could do.
And if we got a bigger budget, could we do it better? We wanted to make sure that we spent a lot of time on it, but
I think it's a
if
resounding
we
yes,
go
though.
harder, are people going to want more?
Right.
That was the whole thing.
I mean,
is it something we want to pursue?
Yeah, we got a lot of likes on YouTube, and we got one dislike.
Yeah, one dislike. Who are you?
Mm-hmm. We know you're out there.
Who are you?
We love the haters.
The one thumbs down. Actually, I love it because it's good publicity. I want a couple thumbs down. That's fine. That means it's real.
It was me. It was me.
Someone was like,
it was me, you son of a bitch.
Jeez.
I'm just kidding. But we will.
I do wonder who it was, though. If it was you, let us know. Fuck
right.
It. Dude, we want to know why you didn't like it. There was no comment. All the comments were great.
I know that.
Tell us
that
why.
was the thing. I was like, I hope they comment.
Step out of the shadows.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, we love it. Because I shit on movies all the time.
Right.
I hate critics. We talk about it. We hate critics. But I'm the biggest critics of some of these shit movies.
Well, that's the thing. That was another lesson we kind of learned. It was like putting ourselves through fucking film school. You know what I mean? It now going through with this podcast, it's going to be a little more of, we dislike. It's okay to dislike a movie and talk shit about a movie. That's fine. That's what film is about. That's what all art is about. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. That's fine.
There's a lot of huge movies that I don't like too. That a lot of people, The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
People love The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
People love, and you love Midsummer.
I don't love Midsummer, but I do like Midsummer.
See, and I've only watched it one time.
Right.
And I was like, it just didn't do it for me. And I know it's artsy. I know it was.
Yeah.
The cinematography was great in it.
But it's okay. It's all subjective. It's all except for The Exorcist. That's objective.
Right. If you don't like The Exorcist,
movie of all time, so sorry.
Log off right now.
But no, it's subjective, man. It's okay to dislike something, but what I think we learned through this entire thing is like you have to respect the effort that people put in. No one goes into making a project or any type of art, whatever it is, saying, "Oh, I can't wait to piss everybody off because this is bad." No one says that. Like, people go in trying to do their best and make the best story to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
So I think that's the respect thing we kind of learned is that even if we don't like it, you have to respect the
time and the effort.
The time and the effort that's put in. And I think going forward with this podcast, when we review movies, I think we'll be talking
if you're afraid of losing, you'll never win.
Exactly.
We were talking about that earlier.
Absolutely.
And it's just that's true, man.
Right.
Honestly, because every shitty movie started with somebody being like, "This is gonna be fucking awesome."
Oh, absolutely.
This is gonna be fucking awesome.
And even to them, it might be.
Yeah.
Even if it's shitty to everybody else, and more power to you. If you have $50 in your pocket, you want to go make a movie on your cell phone. We just proved you can fucking do it. Yeah. Go make something. Just put effort into it.
Right.
The more effort you put in, the better it is.
Was Worm the best movie? No. Of course. Is it in the top 1,000? Absolutely not.
Is it in the bottom? Is it in the bottom 200? Yeah, but it might be like 199.
Right.
That's pretty good.
We're better than 198 of them motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know what I mean? So fuck you.
And here's the thing: is if no one likes it, it doesn't matter. We put everything into it. This
was our experiment.
Yeah.
This was our experiment.
There's only up from here, my friend.
Oh yes. I mean, we have bigger and better things coming. I mean, we talk
darker things too.
Darker.
Darker. And don't get me wrong, this is not the one. We're gonna let you guys in on one thing. This next film we're doing is not based around Worm at all.
No,
we did. A
lot of people.
Now hold your horses. Don't click.
Simmer
exit.
Down.
Just hold on.
Simmer down.
I say this because a lot of people on social media, we did a voting, and a lot of people wanted Henry Guild back, right. And we were really pumped about that. And
we love Henry Guild,
and we want Henry Guild back. We do.
At some point, Henry Guild may return.
But this next project, is not Worm based,
not at all.
So just know that. But having said that, it's very dark.
It's very dark. And it's a much different story.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger universe that we're going into. We're not shooting this in one, apartment. We're not shooting this in one house.
Bigger production.
A much bigger production.
So we're excited for that.
Dude, so excited.
It's gonna be great.
So excited.
It's gonna
about
be
it.
fucking great. But anyway, you know what? We really loved doing Worm.
Yeah.
It was a huge success in my eyes.
In my eyes, $100 budget.
I mean, I loved making this film.
This was our challenge. This was our goal.
Yeah.
Can we make something?
And we did.
And we did.
And I encourage you all out there, if you have an idea, if you have a story you want to tell and you're like, for some reason holding back, just don't. Just go do it. That's all we did. We sat there. We wrote a script. We literally said, fuck it. Let's just write a script. Okay, I'm going to write a script. Okay, let's direct this thing. Let's see what we can make it look like on a cell phone. Okay, let's do it. And then it turned into this fucking thing that was way bigger than both of us. Like, it turned out to be something that, like, you know,
the horror community really enjoyed.
Dude, you know what I mean? So many cool compliments and people who wanted to be involved.
People
in the
literally
movie.
DMing us,
and it was like seriously, like thank you so much for watching it and spreading it. And,
absolutely.
And again, it's on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Watch the movie. Share it with your friends. I mean, we know people that have watched it 3 or 4 times now. Absolutely, that keep watching it, and it's so cool to see that something that started as absolutely nothing. This isn't a fan film. This isn't.
No.
We created this out of thin air, and that's the brilliance of it. Now it just kind of exists in the universe, exists in the world,
and it morphed into something even we didn't. You know what I mean? Like we didn't expect, we didn't want. You know, necessarily. Henry Guild was not supposed to be Henry Guild when we started this. No. He was not supposed to be. That post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene was not supposed to be there. No. Henry Guild is just a guy.
And now he's like
and
open for...
And now that's what Henry Guild is the guy.
That's what he started
you know
as.
What I mean?
He was like... Just this... The thing... What was cool was like you say the name, and when we first started the project, we would say the name and be like, do we like the name?
Right,
Guess what? It doesn't matter. If you can... put the story around it. You'll create this person. You'll create these characters by yourself, and that's what's important. Characters that people care about and people want more of, and they're not going to get much more of me and you. Henry Guild's the one they're going to get more if they want more.
Absolutely.
So we will always hold him. We will always hold him dear to our hearts.
Absolutely. But we're on to bigger and better things now.
And we might come back to him.
And I was just gonna say,
I will never let him go. I'm just saying.
We've talked a lot about a lot of things.
He will always be right there. So we thank you all for enjoying Worm. If you've watched it, if you haven't, and you're listening to this podcast, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, because you're like, what are they talking about?
Makes no sense.
A bracelet?
Henry, for those of you who have watched it, thank you so much.
Yes.
Keep watching it. Get those numbers up, man. I mean, we're trying to get it to 1,000 views. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but to us, it would mean the world.
It's not what we expected going in. No. It's not like...
I expected a couple people to watch it, and that was it. And it completely blew our expectations. Yep. Not to mention, I don't care if anybody watches it. We made something that was brilliant in our eyes.
And we really just made it to know that we could make it.
Or just to do it, period. Like, we love films so much. Who doesn't want to copy all their favorite things that they love in life? That's what life is about, right?
But what I was trying to say was we made it so we knew...
Oh, you weren't trying to say that. My bad.
We could make it... Or we could make something else that's better, bigger. You know what I mean?
That's
something
what you want
that's
to strive
real,
for.
that's...
Absolutely.
You know, you never fucking know. Something that 100,000 people will watch, or 1 million people. You know what I mean? You always want to reach that.
You want to go bigger and better.
Absolutely.
Every time.
You know,
and that's what we're gonna try to do.
And you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, and
we started with
sometimes
Worm.
It starts with a little tiny worm.
And you know what? We did a pretty good job, man.
You're damn right.
All right, so guess what?
Hey, no. Cheers to all the support we got first.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And now, for the premiere
of our new segment.
Our new segment.
This is our new segment on the podcast. This is called Nightmare Fueled. This is real stories of the paranormal, true crime, ancient legends, folklore.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
This is our new segment, people. Brand new on our YouTube page here. This is called Nightmare Fuel. It's basically any true story, any legend or folklore from your hometown, or any stories. Period.
Right.
Anything that fuels your nightmare. That's what we're talking about on this segment.
Mm-hmm.
And today we have a special story. I am calling it The Strange Case of Tamara Samsonova, the Granny Ripper. Now, by the way, Matt has no idea what...
I don't.
This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to take these folklores, these legends, these true crime stories, these ghost stories, stories of the paranormal, aliens, out of this world, anything. It doesn't matter.
Or if you've had
all
any
of it.
experience.
Or if
right.
any of you guys have had these experiences. This is the first one. Okay? So Matt has not... I am reading these out of my own will. He's never going to know what we're talking about. What we're going to do is react to these stories that you guys send us in. Stories that we read. It doesn't matter what it is, either or. This story is by this is by ihorror.com, by the way. So this isn't something that anybody sent in. So our first story here is an article by iHorror's Waylon Jordan. It was on iHorror News. I'm sure a lot of people read it because iHorror is very, very popular website. But yeah, The Strange Case of Tamara Samsonova. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. She's nicknamed the Granny Ripper. Okay.
Sounds erotic.
So I'm going to go through this story and let's react to this.
Sounds
all right?
very erotic.
Sounds very nightmare fuelish. All right, here we go. 60-year-old Tamara Samsonova was caught on CCTV camera footage carrying the pieces of a corpse in a plastic bag around a pond where she attempted to dispose of the remains. It would later be revealed that the body was that of Valentina Nikolaevna Ulanova. These are crazy names, man. Just take that in. Valentina Nikolaevna Czechoslovakia. All right, let's say that again. The body was that of Valentina Nikolaevna. I said that wrong. I love this segment already, man. Valentina Nikolaevna Ulanova. Crazy. It's got to be Czech of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
A friend for whom she has acted as a caretaker. So, this girl, Tamara Samsonova, chopped up a body who was later revealed to be Valentina Nikolaevna Ulanova, a friend for whom she also acted as a caretaker. Okay? So take that in.
Yeah, I got you.
So she did kill this girl. Okay? And this is a true story, by the way. This isn't a folklore legend. This is actually a true story.
So we can't laugh about this.
I don't know exactly. Oh, we can laugh about it. This isn't exactly... I don't know exactly the time frame, but it wasn't that long ago. Maybe a few years ago. We'll say that. She said of Ulanova's murder, so it's confirmed that it was her.
Right.
So this is what Tamara said. The Granny Ripper. Okay, exactly. So she said, "I came home and put the whole pack of phenazepam." So
what did you choose the hardest story to?
Phenazepam. It's some sort of pill. 50 pills.
Yeah,
it's a pill. She put it in her salad. This girl's salad.
And she fucking ate it? I bet she was a heifer.
She put it...
I bet this girl was a fucking heifer if she ate 50 fucking pills in a salad, dude.
That's a big salad, bro.
That's a big fucking salad. Why is she eating 50 pills in a salad?
The biggest salad I've ever fucking seen, okay?
Elaine Bennis wouldn't eat that fucking salad.
So the Granny Ripper put in Valentina Nikolaevna Ulanova's salad, she put 50 pills in, okay? She woke up at 2 a.m. and she was lying on the floor. So what's the obvious thing you do if your victim's lying on the floor?
Fuck them.
Cut what? Oh, it's a little far, but it's close. She just started cutting her up into pieces.
Oh yeah, that was the second thing I would have said.
Okay,
that's the second thing I would have said.
All right, so police would further find evidence that would reportedly connect her to a total of 14 murders, including that of a former tenant named Volodya.
You love this.
Yo, these names, I'm hoping after this segment, the names get a little easier.
Very erotic.
Samsonova,
well, don't go to Czech-based websites.
No, this is on iHorror. So Samsonova reportedly wrote in her diary that she killed the man after an argument. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She dismembered him as well and disposed of his body in the same location she would later use for Ulanova's remains. So she killed this guy, a local tenant, right? Same tenant in her building. So these two people are in the same burial site, pretty much, right? Same location. She had this to say about her diary readings. I'm haunted by a maniac upstairs who forced me to kill. What do you think about that? Maniac upstairs, meaning a little symbolism.
I was going to say upstairs meaning her head, or upstairs in the fucking attic.
No.
Right, yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe a little of both.
So, on the surface, it was an open and shut case, but there were elements to Samsonova's story that remain puzzles even now. It shook the world audience when they realized that she was not only a brutal killer, but she seemingly did not begin killing until she was in her late 50s. So pretty old, but I mean,
I'm gonna say she had a screw loose probably her whole life.
Oh, I'm sure, but so her diary states that at least 14 murders in her late 50s. Yikes. How did she get away with it for so long?
Pills.
Apparently.
You know what I mean? I don't know who the fuck's eating 50 pills in a fucking salad, though. Is she putting them in the dressing? She crushing them?
Yeah, what is she doing? Is she blending
these things? if I'm eating a salad and I see a pill on my plate, I'm like...
Yeah. She's got to be pure. She's pureeing this shit, right?
She's got to be.
She's mixing it with some ranch, maybe like a Southwest ranch.
Southwest ranch.
I don't know. I
don't think they're eating that. I don't think they're eating that in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, I don't know what type of
fucking,
in the Czech Republic.
Oily
maybe some olive oil with some. Maybe some jalapenos, pureed. Yeah. But either way, these pills were pureed. They had to have been.
Had to be.
There's no way you're eating 50
chance.
pills.
I mean, maybe one or two if you're really hungry.
One or two, but here's the thing: I don't know what this. I don't know what this pill is.
You didn't look this up?
No,
see, I didn't know anything about this. Is it an antipsychotic that she was taking?
Here's what I'm saying: is I don't want to react. I want to react to it just as much as you do. So I'm just taking the overall story. I don't know what phenazepam is.
Phenazepam?
Phenazepam. Is that what it is?
Oh shit! That's what it was.
Well, yeah.
No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but it took 50 of them. I'm sure whatever it was, maybe 5 would probably do the trick.
Yeah, if you eat 50, you're probably going to die anyway.
It seems like most pills, you do 1 or 2. Not 50, that's for sure. If there's any if there's any prescription where I'm doing...
Take 50 a day.
Yeah.
Hey, I've known people.
I guess I would puree that as well.
I've known people, dude. I've known people who took 50 a day.
I guess if I had to take 50 pills a day, I'd puree them as well. But maybe it's not a Southwest ranch because this is like some Czech shit. So
yeah,
so it's probably some really bitter shit that maybe they wouldn't have tasted anyway. Maybe in some Southwest ranch you might taste 50 pills, right? But in some
it'd be chunky.
But some down to earth Czech Republic, fucking olive oil type shit. Probably not too good.
No.
Maybe some Worcestershire in there.
Worcestershire. What the fuck is wrong?
Sour cream, Worcestershire.
I love sour cream.
A little chicken stock in there. Yeah, I don't know, man. But this girl's fucked up. She's called the Granny Ripper. Like I said, iHorror's Waylon Jordan put this on their iHorror.com, so there's the credit. But yeah, the Granny Ripper. 50 years old, man.
Was she foxy? Did you see a picture?
I saw some pictures, not so foxy. Not so foxy, man. Yeah, pretty gross. No.
The Granny Ripper sounds sexy.
Not a minxie cat.
Sounds like a minxie cat.
No, I don't think so.
I like it.
Anyways, that's our first Nightmare Fuel segment. Thank you for joining us. They're gonna get better as they go.
We're gonna get something from the States on the next one.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna get better stories. This is the one we wanted to start off with. If you, the listeners or the viewers, have any stories you guys want to send in to us, please do so. We're going to...
Yeah, we'd love to talk about it. Honestly, I'd like some non-documented shit.
Right.
Even if it's something that you want to make up and send to us, I'm down with it.
Right. This story was just to kick off this segment. This is our first time doing the segment. This story is just to kick it off. If you have any stories you want to tell, any stories you've written, or any folklore or legends from your hometown or your home state, or any true crime stories that you want to talk about, they could be famous or not so famous.
Right.
Any real ghost stories or paranormal stories you want to talk about.
Real life experiences, right.
We are going to put our email at the bottom of this page, so you guys can email us. If you want to send a video, you can. You can put your tag name for Instagram or Twitter or any social media you have so we can promote you as well. We'll do that. But we're looking for all the weirdest, fucking craziest, and scariest
erotic
stories.
I want really erotic.
You want some erotic shit?
I want very erotic.
Oh my god, it's like, oh man, it's like 50 Shades of Grey mixed with like some fucking horror shit.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
I'm into
Anything you guys have that's going to fuel your nightmare,
right,
please send it in.
Let's do it.
We appreciate you guys joining us. Have a good day.
And may the power of Christ compel you.
I love it. Now, back to our episode. So that was
I thought.
Well, here's the thing: is for those segments, we're gonna put separately.
Oh, you gotta cue a brother in on that. Oh, I can't say brother.
Yeah, you can. Cue a brother in. Yeah, but we're back to the podcast now, so they understand that this is a whole segment, and then the Nightmare Fuel segment will be by itself. So if you listen to the podcast, you fucking get it. We're candid over here.
Oh.
We're back.
Oh, and welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. My name is Matt. This is my co-host John. Say what is up?
What is cracking?
You're a real fucking dick, dude.
So anyway, that segment will be on a separate YouTube segment that we're gonna do. But back to the podcast anyway.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but seriously, very excited for this new segment. Very excited for you guys to listen to us talk about our short film Worm, because this is kind of a closure for us, I feel like, to move on to the next thing. And it's been a long time coming. It's been
we're ready to move on ourselves.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the next project is going to be fucking brutal, man.
Dude, it's gonna be way better.
We've already started writing it. Just so you guys know, a little sneak peek there. Not going to tell you anything about it. I'm sure
it's going to be a long process on this one.
And the upcoming episodes will let you guys in a little bit here and there. Not anything about the story, but we are going to be releasing some things to talk about budget, stuff like that. We might start a campaign to see if any of you fans want to, if you guys liked Worm, to if you guys want to help us out.
Shamelessly plug. I'll say we've already spent a lot of our own money for this next project.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like it was time. Mm-hmm. If you're afraid of losing, you're not going to win.
Oh, well, just on the equipment alone.
And we're just going to keep spending. We're going to spend. We're going to spend. Just
on the equipment alone, but we'll probably do an Indiegogo or a GoFundMe or something for you fans of Worm that really enjoyed it. We'll post that if you guys want to donate anything. If you do donate, you'll be credited in the credits of the movie, obviously. But we'll get more into that in later episodes when we're ready to release that.
Yeah, we're planning on a giveaway soon as well
for Worm. Absolutely, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway, and we have some cool stuff to give away. We got some stickers.
Yeah, we got some photos of Worm.
Yeah. We might actually. We're thinking about getting some DVDs made up of Worm as well. Maybe we'll get an extra one.
Yep.
And put it in the giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do a poster because posters are fucking ridiculous to
ship, man.
Ship out,
what
man.
the
it's
fuck?
Crazy. We got this one made up here. You guys can hardly see it, but you can see the bottom of it. It was a lot of money, man. It's not easy to ship those things, so. Maybe a DVD would be better. I think people would appreciate that. The DVD would include Worm in its whole, in its entirety.
Behind the scenes
as well. And also in black and white. Yes, it'll be in black and white as well. Which is awesome.
Black and white, baby.
Yeah, why not? You got to fill the DVD up. The movie's only 17 minutes.
Worm
so.
Chrome. Like Mad Max, Thunder Road Chrome.
I love it.
Do you watch movies in black and white? I watched some black and white movies, the ones that were originally made in black and white.
Yeah.
The last black and white movie I actually watched was The Lighthouse, and I wanted to blow my brains out after watching it.
I almost wonder if it would.
It might have been better if it was in color.
Yeah,
I know they wanted to go real artsy.
Because like The Witch, Robert Eggers, I still can't. I mean, it's such a tear because I really.
This is why our little furry buddy is up here, because of The Witch.
I know a lot of people liked The Lighthouse, but sometimes I wonder if a lot of people loved The Lighthouse because they like The Witch so much.
Hipsters.
And they don't want to give up that.
I'm sorry if you love The Witch.
No, but it's true. Like, I'm in the same boat. Like, it's almost like The Witch was so good.
It was unbelievable.
That you wanted to like The Lighthouse so bad.
That you just
did.
You've convinced yourself that you like it.
Exactly. Just so you don't have that.
You know what
downfall.
else I would like to do, and I haven't run this by you at all.
Right.
I'd love to get a top 5 list from a lot of people. I'd love to get a top 5 horror movies.
Oh wow.
Of all time.
Right.
I'd love to put it just like a broad statement out there. Give me your top 5.
Yeah. Why not?
Because
do it up.
Honestly. I mean, I'm sure we've seen a ton of them.
Yeah.
We know our top 5.
Oh, of course.
And we did.
Well, mine switched a little bit.
Our first episode ever on the podcast was our top 10.
See, I think mine switched since then.
I was just going to say, and it might be about due.
Well, as time goes on,
it might be about due that we brush up on this and say, look, number 1 hasn't changed.
Yeah,
number 1 hasn't changed.
That'll never change.
But we've watched a lot of horror movies over the last 2 years. We've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this for almost
a year and a half.
Yeah, a little more than a year and a half.
Probably. Yeah.
And we've watched a lot of horror movies since then.
Right.
I think it might be time.
Yeah,
it might be time
down.
for a
maybe even for the new year.
Maybe
give another
New Year episode top 10.
Right.
So everybody, get your shit together. Send it in. I want to hear it.
Send them in. Let's hear about it.
I want to hear it.
Comment on the post below.
Because if there's movies on there that I haven't seen, I want to see them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, I love old movies.
You know? For sure.
The older movies just have way more meaning, a lot more dialogue.
The stories are way better.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, kind of like Worm. Story's so good.
No. I do love the story of Worm.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming back. All the fans that are coming back, thank you so much for being back with us.
And we're
Any
back.
new fans, thank you so much. And we're back, baby.
We're back, baby.
Home of Horror
Carcast.
That's the tequila talking. If you've watched any episodes before, you know that tequila is talking. The Home of Horror podcast is back. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for joining us. Matt, take us the fuck out.
Wait, are you serious this time?
I'm serious this fucking time. Take us the fuck out.
May the power of Christ compel you.
See you later, guys.
Later.